Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Kiko's Freethinkers Forum. This is an impromptu episode 146, and I am here today solo to discuss the upcoming 2024 election, which is next Tuesday, November the 5th. We're going to have special election coverage here at Kiko's Freethinkers Forum. We have a packed house. We have at least 10 guests who are going to be on the screen consecutively and simultaneously discussing organization, what we can be doing after the election. We're not even really going to be discussing the election. This circus is what I call it. So that's the reason why I'm giving this impromptu episode today, just to give my thoughts. This should only be around a half hour because I have other things to do. But I want to give my insight into how I think this election is going to go. I don't think it's going to be that close of an election. Honestly, I don't believe that it is a close election. These are meant to be closed traditionally anyway, because we have a two-party system. Unfortunately, we have a blue and a red team. And we're going to discuss some of this analysis before I get off of here. But I just want to say before we continue, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a little bit of your time to expand your mind. And remember, you can't unthink free thought. It's not costing you anything to get this information, support independent media. I'm not asking for money. If you want to send money, I'm not going to deny the money. We have super sticker capabilities, super chat capabilities with the live streams that we're going to be doing this Tuesday night, starting at 6 p.m. Central Time. 6 p.m. Central Time is going to be the coverage for the election night 2024. Bookmark that and just click that notification bell on your video to have the information so it pops up on your YouTube subscription so you can join us live in the chat. We want active audience participation. There may be some people that need to shoulder the crown that night, depending on where you are politically. But us personally, the people on the screen that you're going to see, our esteemed guests that night, we're not going to be really affected by it too much. I don't have any stake really in this election. I already cast my vote. But like I said, I didn't support a vote for the duopoly candidate, so it doesn't really matter. To me, who wins is just a different version or a different flavor of neoliberalism, imperialism, forever wars, and everything else you want to talk about. As far as the analysis is concerned, I'm going to go share a screen so y'all can see my August Substack. I believe it was August the 12th that I published this Substack article, just to give you the reasons why I think this is not going to be a close election. So if y'all can see this screen here, my Substack is entitled "Don't Believe the Hype, the Predictability of the Electoral College Map and the Illusion of Democracy," which was published on August the 18th. And if you look here, I give some analysis about what goes against the third-party candidates to begin with. So you all, I'm going to link this in the episode description. Please take a look at it. It kind of gives the rules of the Electoral College, what it is. A lot of my friends are so delusional. They have no clue what the Electoral College is. It's a state-by-state election system. And this is the map that I had back in August the 18th, just to show you how trivial the system is we have. It's not even a national popular vote system. It's a state-by-state popular vote system. So as you can see here in my map, you can pretty much predetermine historically most of the states are going to go a certain way based on the trending. This election may be a little bit unique. I believe this is going to be more like a 2016 scenario. And we discussed this in episode 145 with Dr. Jack Rasmus and S.L. Canthan, the last half hour of that live stream that we did yesterday. But if you can see here, the blue states, pretty much the West Coast, Cal, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii, blue. Colorado, blue. But you guys kind of get the drift, and the red states are already predetermined more or less. And this is including the so-called swing states, Georgia, North Carolina. I don't really believe they're swing states. I think Trump has those pretty comfortably. We have some issues here with Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. And remember, this is back in August 18th. I've changed my mind a little bit more. I think that we can give Arizona to Trump easily. I think that Pennsylvania is going to go to Trump. And if you look at this, 251, all Trump will need under this arbitrary scenario will be Pennsylvania to win the election under the electoral system. And just a few things to hint. There were some changes in the Electoral College from the last election. People don't keep up with this stuff. That's why I'm giving you the information. Illinois actually, I believe they lost a vote, an electoral vote. Michigan lost an electoral vote. New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Those states lost electoral votes. Texas actually gained 2, I believe, based on population growth. And I believe that Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon gained an electoral vote. So that's important to realize. So if you look at the state, the updated map here, Florida has 30. Pennsylvania would have had 20, but now they have 19. New York had 29, but now they have 28. And this is accounted for population changes. And I don't think that that's something that people's factoring in too. May not seem like that big of a deal, but in a close election, it will make a difference. Michigan, we're going to go to that in a second. And we're going to go to New Hampshire, some of the information coming out of that, Wisconsin, and some of these so-called swing states. So I'm going to switch over to another graphic here, which is the mail-in ballot information and early vote tallies that's going on right now. This kind of debunks the mainstream media theory. You notice that they keep highlighting the Cheney Republicans supporting Kamala Harris. I actually believe what's happening is that there are more registered Democrats voting for Trump than there are registered Republicans voting for Kamala Harris. And I'll tell you why. Because the media narrative is they're already saying that Michigan is in play for Trump and for Kamala. So if you base it on that theory alone, if we click here, look at the registered Democrats based on the party affiliation. You have 52%, 38% split. And this is from the casted votes already. So you have more Democrats registered voting, and then you have 10%, which is other unaffiliated independent. That can mean anything. Mail-in ballots requested, 49% Democrats, 39% Republicans, 12% split. So the question is, if you base it strictly on party affiliation, how is it that Trump has a chance in Michigan? Even the mainstream media is saying that he's very close or if not winning in some polls in Michigan. The question is why, if you look at the information, it doesn't make sense. It's because Democrats who are registered Democrats have actually been Trump supporters, and they don't account for that kind of stuff. So that's why they keep telling you in the mainstream media, 200 Republicans, prominent Republicans are endorsing Kamala, but they're not telling you that registered Democrats are also voted for Trump. It's just like it was in 2016 when those same Obama voters voted for Donald Trump, and that's why Hillary didn't win. The same thing I believe is happening here. And you have to keep in mind, we don't have a pandemic year with the mail-in uniqueness of that particular cycle. So this is not a unique circumstance and anomaly like 2020 with the pandemic. We don't have those same restrictions anymore. And it looks like, based on the early voting, more Republicans are going to the polls and voting, even though traditionally it's been said that Republicans like to go up to the polls at election day. So we look at Georgia, for instance, you have more registered Republicans or more registered Democrats based on the mail-in ballot request, which is not out of the ordinary because Democrats tend to mail-in ballots more traditionally. But as you can see here, the early voting, the mail-in and the early votes cast, it shows a 49% to 45% in favor of the Republicans and 6% other unaffiliated. I believe that the independents are going to break the Trump's way too. And people are saying, why are you so high on Trump? I call it like I see it. I don't try to have an agenda with this. Kamala has 4 main demographics. She has a Southeast Asian demographic. And I can't even count the Arab Americans as a demographic for her, because a YouGov poll just released shows that Trump actually has a 49 to 47% lead with Arab Americans, which tells me that she's losing because of the genocide in Palestine right now. And that's going to really be, I think that's going to be the decider in the election for Kamala. Even if we use the premise that she had a chance against Trump, I think that her chance is pretty much gone away when you factor in the people who are going to sit out, who are Democrats. I think Democrats are going to have a lower turnout this time around in 2020. And I believe that there are going to be more third party independent voters in those swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. They're going to decide the election because of the genocide. And the interesting part about the genocide is that Democrats, I've seen a lot of liberals have used the word genocide themselves to describe what's happening in Palestine. So they're admitting that there's a genocide going on. And that's where Kamala cannot separate from Trump. Trump is a Zionist just like Kamala, but the problem is that Kamala relies a lot on that Arab American pro-Palestinian side and black votes, and all this crosses over. And Democrats are not the anti-war party anymore. This is a big difference from any traditional Republican that we have had. For all Trump's faults, he's a tool for the establishment. But Trump has successfully changed the Overton window. He's shifted the Overton window to where a Republican can openly say that they're an anti-war candidate, and a Democrat can't really contest him on it. Even though he's droned countries, just like Obama on his drone campaigns. Trump is very anti-Iran. He's already made it pretty clear, and I think J.D. Vance at the RNC said that he wouldn't have a problem attacking Iran. And we know that Israel, Iran, Lebanon, all this has been going on ever since October the 7th. So it's not out of the ordinary for these people to be declaring war on different countries. So neither party is an anti-war party, but Trump is able to use the Ukraine, openly express his disdain for the Ukraine war as if it's the only war. But Democrats are so involved in the war machine too that they really can't say, oh, he's not anti-war. We're just going to be quiet about it because we're going to take in the Cheneys, the Liz Cheneys, the George Bushes of the world, who are openly neocon warmongers. So once you have that going on, they don't have a stool to stand on. And that's the reason why it's a lack of voice from a traditionally anti-war party. The Democrats have not been anti-war since the pre-Clinton days. That's the matter of the fact. Ever since the Clinton New Democrat wing of the Democrats have been in power, they've become warmongers ever since the Gulf War, and it's only gotten worse since the Gulf War. And so I believe that base has changed. The Republican base has changed a lot, and the Democratic base has changed. So there's a fracturing going on with both parties and a realignment at the same time. It's Trump's party now. The Republican Party is Trump's party. The question is, how is that party going to look after Trump is out of office in 2028? Because I'm anticipating that Trump win, but let's just say that Trump, he's going to be gone in 2028 and J.D. Vance runs. It's not going to be the same Trump party, even though they're going to be running off Trumpism. And that's the thing. Trumpism is a brand. The border, immigration, illegal immigration, make America great again, the slogan, bringing jobs back to the states. Whether you believe this is bullshit or not, these are explicit things that we can point to as far as Trumpism. And it's a brand, and his base is stronger than Kamala's base. And as a matter of fact, there's more potential for people to be Trumpers than there are for people to be Kamala supporters. And I'm going to tell you why. The Democrats have used this game of being a big tent party. But at some point, there's a fracturing within that party because a lot of the voters in the Democrats are conservative voters too. A lot of black voters are conservative natured voters. White men that are not college educated, white women that aren't college educated, black people, Hispanic people. A lot of Hispanic groups are very conservative minded people. Family values, church-based families. And these are Democrats. They don't like to admit to this stuff, but it's the truth. It's not just LGBTQ people in the Democratic Party. It's a big tent party, and they've traditionally attracted the Bernie crowd type people. But even the Bernie people have kind of felt abandoned from the Democratic Party. You will have some of those people that will support a Kamala Harris ticket. But a lot of those people are going to jump third party. Some of those people may not vote at all anymore. Some of those people have become Trumpers since then. That's stuff that's not accounted for. And young voter turnout is not going to be as high as people think either this time around. I think we can go to a stat here to show what I'm talking about. If we go to Statista and we go to the number of registered voters, and you click on 2024 U.S. presidential election, it says number of registered voters 161 million. Percentage of people aged 18 to 24 registered to vote, less than half. So that's going to be a key number to watch. This may be based on 22 numbers. Yes, based on 22 numbers, but it's going to be interesting to see how this changes over time. You have male and then you have female, almost even when it comes to that, 68.2 to 70%, 49%. So you got over half of the 18 to 24 population not even registered to vote. Something else I want to go back to. I want to go back to these swing states, these so-called swing states, again, that are created by the electoral college system, because neither party wants it to be a national election, because that means that they will have to campaign every state, and they would have to pour funding in every single state, because at that point, every vote would count into the national tally. Neither party wants a national vote system. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe. That's the reason why I have the article here entitled "Don't Believe the Hype." Neither party wants a national popular vote system. It is a bullshit myth, and they're going to keep telling you that they want this electoral vote system. That's why all the money can be poured into Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada. That's why they do this stuff. They can pour all this stuff into the swing states. Now let's go back to early voting. So let's go to Wisconsin, another swing state, right? The media is telling you this. The lamestream media is telling you that this is a tight race in Wisconsin. Okay, so the question is this. Something's going on. Mail-in and early in-person voting. These are votes already cast, 850,000, 35% Democrats, 23% registered Republicans, 42% unaffiliated other. So Wisconsin is going to be an interesting state to watch. They don't like to tell you this on the mainstream media, but this is something that's interesting. This could be third party. This could be people switching over to Trump. This could be anything. I believe that most time these so-called unaffiliated people tend to break with the candidate that wins the election. Clearly, I think that Trump is going to win, and I'm going to get to the reasons again, like even more reasons. But the mail-in ballots requested here, 36% Democrats, 23% Republicans. So if you base it on the premise of the mainstream media, if these are registered Democrats and they outweigh the Republicans, and you have this large batch of independents and unaffiliated, then why is it that Trump has a chance? He has a chance because not only are these registered Democrats, I believe my theory is that there are more registered Democrats switching to him than there are registered Republicans switching to Kamala. And we're going to see election night. And you guys can shoot me down in the comments or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're opinions. That's all they are. And you're entitled to your opinion too. But I was telling Jack Rasmus that Trump is pretty much gaining every other demographic. The ones that I named from Kamala, women, really, and Southeast Asians, like Black women, college-educated white women, single women. Every other demographic, Trump has pretty much gained. Hispanic voters, Black voters, Black men especially. You see how they shame the Black men. That's the reason why they keep harping on that. And Kamala and Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan were caught on a hot mic saying that we have some issues with men. They were caught saying that at a bar. So they're admitting, and the internal polling from both parties are showing that, like, Trump's internal polling is showing a lot of positives, and Kamala's internal polling is not showing good signs. That's why Trump is actually campaigning in New Mexico out of all states. So he must be really comfortable if he's out there in New Mexico, Virginia, these types of states. It may just be a tactic But to me, it's a big sign. And then he had the MSG rally yesterday with a lot of, I'm not saying he's going to win New York, but to me, it's just a signal. I think his numbers are very promising on his end. And I think Kamala is running a worse campaign than Hillary Clinton. If she thinks that the mainstream media is going to be on her side, which they are embedded in the mainstream media, the parties are, but I believe it's a more anti-Trump mainstream media than anything, which is honestly no excuse for Democrats to not have more support than they do. But they support genocide, and they lay in the bed and they have to deal with the consequences because both parties are bought up by these lobbies. APAC being a lobby. They're both bought up by the fossil fuel industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the war machine industry. Any of these large industries, they're both corporate parties. So at this point, you're deciding which color of corporate do you want. And it seems like Trump is campaigning harder than Kamala. I'm just going to be honest with you. Outside observer, I have nothing vested in this. I'm outside both of these bullshit parties. So I think that Trump is putting more effort into getting a vote than Kamala. Kamala is using a lot of surrogates, a lot of celebrities. And if I were a Democratic strategist, I would be talking about working class issues. The workers, working people, not middle class workers, using that word. Anti-war, but they can't. The traditional Democratic base pre-Bill Clinton were workers and anti-war voters. They're losing that support in both aspects. And these aren't made up things. These are things that people just need to acknowledge. I hate that map. Let me share this map with you guys so you can see what I was talking about before. Let me share this screen. Sorry about that. Okay. So now it's sharing. So this is the point I was making here. You guys can see the 36%, 23% with the mail-in request versus the mail-in early in-person voting. It just debunks the media narrative. If so many Republicans are voting for Kamala, then why is it even close? If the numbers right here, if you base it on these numbers, they're in the favor of the Democrat. And you have a lot of people unaccounted for here, the 42% mail-in early in-person vote cast numbers, and then also the mail-in ballot numbers, 41% is a large number. That's a large number. And that kind of goes into the theory, the bullshit theory that independent cannot win an election. They can. People just don't vote for independents. But if you vote for an independent, that vote will go to the independent candidate. There are more independent, registered independent voters than there are both Democrats and Republicans. There's just, it's an undeniable fact. And if you go to a state like New Hampshire, for instance, if we go to a state like New Hampshire, which has a lot lower population, 49,873 mail-in early votes cast, 39% to 33%. That's not that far off. And then you have 28%. Who knows where this 28% is going to go? We don't know. That's the reality of it. We just don't know. We're guessing at this point. And then the mail-in request, pretty much the same, 38, 32. Independents are going to decide New Hampshire. The question is, are they going to break for Kamala or they're going to break for Trump? And if you look at this here, so yeah, you can see that there. The numbers I was just touting out. We're going to go to my electoral map. New Hampshire's in play. That's consistent with my numbers, and that was going back to August the 18th. Like I concluded, only 6 states in play, honestly. And there may be more states than that, because I believe if you follow the premise that this is going to be a landslide Trump win, if it's a landslide, then that means Trump, I believe that he has a chance to win the popular vote. And the mainstream media has even not admitted to this recently. So if Trump is anywhere near winning the popular vote, he's going to win the electoral college. And my friends need to get off their bullshit, because I live in Tennessee. Tennessee is a red state. So stop vote shaming people who don't vote the way you want them to vote. It's a red state. It is. Get these people over the 5% threshold, third party independent. Get them over 5% so they can maybe get some federal funding in the next election. I think Ralph Nader, as a Green in 2000, he got 11% or more. He got 11 states or more with at least 5% of that state vote. I think he got at least 5% in 11 different states in the 2000 election. Ralph Nader, that is. So we have a couple of issues to cover before we go. So basically, Kamala's ran a terrible campaign, and I give you those reasons why. There's a realignment going on within the parties. The biggest difference is not just Black people abandoning the Democratic Party, which they are, because you wouldn't see these shaming tactics. Is because they're frustrated with the numbers that they're getting. Independent media is also something that people need to follow more. Get out of these echo chambers, and you would know that the election is different based on whoever you're talking to. The betting markets are telling you that Trump is going to win. The internal polling, I've already mentioned that. The biggest tell, I believe, is going to be this article here. It's not really the article, it's more so the movement in the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party tends to be the third party, as outside the Democrats and Republicans, the duopoly candidates. The Libertarian candidate tends to get the next chunk of the national vote. I believe this election may be different. I believe Jill Stein may get more. I have a bold prediction here. I believe that Jill Stein will get more national votes than Chase Oliver will as the Libertarian. Jill Stein would get more Green votes than Chase Oliver will Libertarian votes. This article from October 18 says how Libertarian Chase Oliver may impact Trump, Harris race in swing states. This is, to me, misleading. I'm going to tell you why. It polled 5,110 people, a Pew Research survey. They have Harris narrowly leading Trump. This is only out of 5,110 people. The fact that Harris, even just this one poll, 48% to 47%, national, this is a national poll number. So that means that they're saying that he's already within the margin of error, 1.7 percentage points. That means that Trump, they're acknowledging that Trump has a chance to win the national popular vote, which means that he's going to win most of the swing states if that's the case. That's just common sense. This is an electoral college system. This is not a national vote system. This is not a national election vote system. But even under the so-called popular vote, I believe that Trump has a chance to win the popular vote. They're acknowledging this. That's how bad Kamala's campaign has been. And there's also third-party candidates. They're composing 5% of this particular poll, this 5,110 adult Pew Research poll. What's the big part of this that I want to mention? The Libertarians are not backing their own candidate, Chase Oliver. I'm trying to get the Tennessee Libertarian Party on the chair this week because this is kind of urgent. Chase Oliver is an openly gay man. And I don't know if you all have followed some of the comments, but they've been pretty despicable. Just the way they've talked about this man. They've said the worst things about this man and his personal life. And these are supposed to be libertarians. You have people like Dave Smith and Clint Russell, these internet personalities, comedians, and podcasters. They're all telling people, I'm going with Trump, which is crazy as hell to me because, and these are the same people who are shooting down the genocide. So Trump is still a Zionist, just like Kamala is. So how does that make sense for y'all to support Trump over your own libertarian candidate? And then they're saying that he's a psyop, that he's a deep state installation by the Democrats. Chase Oliver was a former Democrat. Okay, but his values are very much libertarian values. I mean, he's been on my show before. He was voted in. He won the delegation fair and square at the convention. So what's the problem? He won the delegation fair and square. The Mises Caucus doesn't like Chase Oliver. Okay, Mike Termott, his running mate, is also in the Mises Caucus. So what's the problem? The top of the ticket is non-Mises, but the bottom of the ticket is Mises Caucus. So what's the problem? Why aren't they backing the libertarian candidate? I don't understand it. They're supporting Trump over him. And so if this is the case, and Chase Oliver is not popular with the libertarians. And he campaigned his ass off. He campaigned all 50 states. He had the 50-state strategy. And he's on the ballot in 47 states, I believe. They are not supporting their candidate. That is the biggest thing that I will say. There's a lot of homophobia, man, in the Libertarian Party. They got to get their stuff together. I want to curse a lot more than I have, but I believe that there's an open sabotage going against the Oliver campaign. And not because he's been on my show. It's if you go to social media and everything else, they are cold on Chase Oliver. There's a wing of the libertarians that don't want to have anything to do with Chase Oliver. They're supporting Trump. I'm not making this stuff up. So if this is the case, and you factor in the Kennedy, a lot of people are talking about this. Kennedy, a lot of those Kennedy Democrats are going to be supporting Trump. These Tulsi people, all these people who are registered as Democrats, these people are supporting Trump. Like I said, I believe Trump is going to win the popular vote. That's a bold ass prediction, but Vegas don't like to lose, and the bet markets don't like to lose. And was it Kalshi and Polymarket and all these all these bet market companies, RCP, Real Clear Politics, they got Trump winning the popular vote. Even 538, I think they have Kamala winning the popular vote by 1%. That's not enough for her to win the electoral college. Compare that to previous races. At this same point, I think Biden was +9 nationally. CNN is admitting this. Biden was +9 nationally in the popular vote. Now it's Harris even, Trump even in some of the major polls. In some of them, Kamala goes up 2 to 3%, and in some, Trump is up 2 to 3%. But look at how much they undercounted it the last time. Biden didn't win the popular vote by 9% the last time, and Clinton didn't win by 6% the last time at this same point. And we don't have a pandemic. So like I said, the Democrats are in deep trouble. If they lose, it's because of one. I think the elephant in the room is the Palestinian genocide, and it's going to come back to bite them in the ass, but they can't say anything about it because the same people who fund the Republicans fund them. Both parties are the same because both backers support them, whether it's Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos, any big wig billionaire you can think, Oprah Winfrey, it doesn't matter who these people are supporting one side of the ruling class. Billionaires don't support third-party candidates. They support the blue and the red team. So it's more, we don't have an interest. That's why I'm getting this off my chest now for this election, because election night, we're not going to be talking about this stupid stuff. We're going to be talking about how we can mobilize people and keep their interest up throughout 2025, 2026, 2027. We need to be building towards the future. Whether it's a mass movement, I'm not going to use certain words on this because I'm not trying to get demonetized. They've already demonetized 6 of my videos. And that's another thing. The censorship is so bad now, you can't even say what you want to say. And people can't even express what they want to express. And you got a lot of hidden Trump people too. Like, they're not going to put Trump signs in these blue areas, but I just don't think that the hidden Trump vote is being accounted for. And it's going to be more like a 2016, but it's going to be on steroids. Kamala is running a horrible campaign. Worse than Hillary. I never thought I'd say that. She's worse than Hillary. Not enthusiastic at all. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn if you're a liberal that follows the channel. I just try to be honest with people. If you're a liberal and you want to be a part of this, you can be a part of this. If you're a person that doesn't like Trump and you're a conservative and you don't like Kamala either, guess what? There's a place here for you. Join us November 5th election night and see what you can do in your community. Right now, I'm going to have community-based people doing positive stuff right now. That's stuff that we can all be doing right now. People that we can be supporting right now locally. instead of worrying about these people every 4 years. Beautiful people, enjoy the rest of your day. I didn't mean to get so animated, but I get tired of being vote shamed. I get tired of hearing people say that this is the most important election in history. It's bullshit. It's not the most important election in history. This stuff is going to be the same whether Trump is in or whether Kamala's in. So why not protest your vote? Why not vote your conscience? Do what you want to do. Sit your ass at home and build an organization. Work with us to build different organizations. Work with us to build towards the general strike. Work with us to build towards some kind of revolutionary movement. Work with us to build third-party candidates and independents in the future. Any of those things work with me. I don't care if you're Trump or whatever. I don't care. If you're cool with me, we got some common ground. We can build some things together. Why not just work together? Fuck this two-party system. I'm out. Beautiful people. Enjoy the rest of your day. And cheers, everybody.